Hello, everyone, and welcome to the original Next Level Gaming. I am Mike Mullis, aka Stinger NLG, and I got with me tonight our new co-host, our old new co-host. He's
Very
back.
old.
Well, one of my originals. He's back again. It is Sean Foster. What's up, brother?
What is going on? How's everybody doing tonight?
We are good. Okay, and it looks like the YouTube channel is working. So, sorry about that, everybody. I don't know what happened. We're just going to call it a mulligan and start over again. Um, and okay, so we already got a couple people in the chat room. Perfect. So good. So, how's your week been, Sean?
It's been pretty good. How did you survive the snowstorm up there?
Well, we got about 30 inches, and you see the towels behind me?
Mm-hmm.
So on Friday, I had to replace my sump pump because the sump pump line, the discharge line, froze. Yeah. So what you see, and you can't really see it. I don't know if you can. Let me move this up a little bit. See that big hose that's hanging across my
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's my temporary discharge for the sump pump that I had to put in. So that was a great $150 charge. I was very happy to have to fork out in the middle of a friggin' blizzard.
Yeah,
So
I know you guys got hit pretty good. It's actually been pretty decent down here in Florida. I mean, the nights are still cold, but it was about 70 degrees today.
well,
I'm trying to rub it in, but
yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
you were talking about school being out all week too. So
So somebody did actually see the trailer. So although I'm being told that our YouTube page is buffering, so I don't know what the hell is going on tonight. Yeah,
YouTube's
yeah,
not being kind.
somebody's not being kind. So, all right, well, we'll just we'll figure this out. And unfortunately, the internet gods are what they are. So we may have to just deal. It definitely is. It's showing me an error has occurred. Please try again later. So I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know if it's maybe YouTube. So if it's YouTube, guys, I'm sorry. We may have to catch it later. It'll be all right. So all right. So we got lots to talk about, and unfortunately, we were going to have a couple of guest hosts, and well, they just never showed. So I'm not sure what to do with that. So it's just you and I, brother,
All right.
which is fine with me, as far as I'm concerned. It's fine with me.
Talk video games, brother.
Let's talk some video games. All right. First up, a bunch of people put out their quarterly numbers, starting with Sony. We'll start with them. Actually, they were the last to put theirs out, but we're going to start with them because their numbers are kind of friggin' phenomenal. And so we want to talk about them real quick. So, all right. So we got lots to talk about. Unfortunately, all right. Oh, I'm hearing an echo now. They just never showed. So, are you on the YouTube page?
Mm-mm.
That's weird because now I hear it. Never mind. All right, back to reality. So, Sony did really well this quarter. They shipped 8.4 million PlayStation 4s. So they had themselves quite a nice quarter. And the good thing for them is they're finally making some money. So after some heavy losses, the PlayStation division for Sony is them and the movie division because they just had James Bond Spectre and that kind of stuff. So their gaming division is up 10.5%. So that's an increase in PS4 hardware sales and software sales, and it was enough to offset a decrease in the PS3 software. So they did quite well. They made $1.9 billion in that quarter, and it's a year-over-year increase. That's a year-over-year increase on last year's holiday season. So they did real well.
Yeah.
And man, that train keeps running.
It keeps running. I mean, To tell you the truth, though, I mean, well, I love my PlayStation 2. There really hasn't been that many first-party games for the system. I mean, a lot of stuff's been delayed, but they just keep crunching those systems out.
Well, Enrique's joining us. Oh, thank God, a third person. So, what's up, Enrique? Waiting to get his microphone on.
Third-person shooter.
Yeah. You know what? This is the fun of being live, right?
Yep.
What the hell? So while he's getting his mic together, and it's looking like you're right. The YouTube feed's looking all right. So I will, we'll try to play the trailer at the end, and I'm going to figure out how to get the trailer looked good, but the sound was horrible. So we're going to figure out how to make that trailer our opener for the podcast. So. Those of you who are having trouble on YouTube, I think it's YouTube tonight, so bear with us. Yeah, I got the error too. Bear with us, guys. You know what? I'll tell you what. I'm going to tweet out the. Oh, I can't tweet out that. So there's no Google Hangout page at this point. It's just the YouTube page. So sorry, guys. So like I said, bear with us. So anyway, Sony had a very good holiday season. You cannot deny what they've done, and look, that's good for them because we know that the last couple of years they've been in a rebuild mode, and Kaz Hirai at the head of Sony has been trying to restructure. They've got issues with their phone division still, and some of the other things they've had to offset, and so it's the PlayStation division has really buoyed their comeback, and they've got something to really be proud of, and so the thing that they're doing now, and we'll bring it up on the screen for people. They are also restructuring, so they're taking their gaming division and their networking division, and they're bringing it into one new entity. And so I'm looking it up now so I can bring it up for you. But so they're really starting to bank heavily on their brand, on their PlayStation brand.
Yeah.
And look, good for them because that's what's working. So here we go. Announcing Sony Interactive Entertainment LLC. Basically, they're taking their network division, their gaming division, and they are bringing everything together to develop for PS4 and PlayStation VR. I think Andrew Layton is going to head the whole thing. Shuhei Yoshida, or Sean Layden rather, I'm sorry. Shuhei Yoshida remains as part of Worldwide Studios. Andrew House remains, I think, in the European side, and so they're going to try to basically consolidate everything into one nice division for PlayStation, because that's really what's making them money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is, because I mean I think it's pretty safe to say that the Vita is a 100% flop.
But that's all right. Look, handhelds that's Nintendo's domain, and Nintendo's the only one who is going to be able to stand up really to mobile, and that's why they're getting involved in mobile, because that's what they're they know the mobile market through their handhelds. So it's their plans aren't quite as solid yet, but
yeah, they're still pretty tight-lipped about their mobile stuff as well. But I guess we'll find out this year. I know that their first app is supposed to be coming out in March. So, and then there's 5 additional games that's supposed to be coming out. So I guess we'll see what happens with that. Good thing about Nintendo going mobile, though, is it's just more money in the bank for them. And it's something that they should have tapped into a long time ago. And we were talking about this earlier. I've never been a fan of mobile gaming, but it's going to be interesting to see what Nintendo brings to the table.
It does. And looks like Enrique's back on. Can you hear us, Enrique?
I'm here.
Here he is.
What is up, Enrique?
What
Hey,
is
what's up, Sean?
How you
what's
doing,
up?
buddy?
I'm good. Yeah,
What's
sorry
up,
for
Apple
that, guys.
Pie?
I was trying to do this on Firefox, and it looks like I didn't install the plugins or something. I don't know. I got to go back and do that later on.
Yeah.
Dude, this whole for some reason the entire internet is having issues right now. Our our YouTube page apparently is buffering. We've
hmm
got all kinds of shit going on. It's just, but we got some good strong people in the chat room that's hanging in there. So
Like, I think YouTube is having snowmageddon.
right.
Yeah,
Are you real quick? Are you plowed out yet?
yeah. We got plowed out on Monday.
Yeah, our school's been closed all week.
Yeah, here too.
So. So anyway, we were starting out by you're basically we've talked about some stuff earlier this week, so you kind of know some of what we're going to talk about. You can catch up pretty easily. I'll bring it up again. We were talking about Sony's quarter three 2015 numbers, and they are pretty impressive.
Yes.
10% increase overall, which is for them is 10.5, which is great considering where they've been, and increase in PS4 software sales and hardware sales. So they're doing quite well. 8.4 million shipped in that quarter. That's probably I believe that's some of the highest shipment rates they've had ever.
Wow.
So we were just kind of going over that, and then so that's extremely strong, extremely strong. And now we get to 2016 where a lot of their first party titles are going to kick in, and that's only going to get better for them. Because if you think about it, they had a increase in PS4 software sales with very little first party.
hmm
Next year, their
Yeah.
first party kicks in, and that's where their revenue is really going to come in. That and
Oh yeah.
their PSN subscriptions.
hmm
Yeah. Mike, I think it's safe to say that 2016 is probably going to be a good year for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think 2016 is going to be probably one of the best years for gaming
Yes.
we've seen in a long time.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
totally have to agree with you on that.
I mean, so let's move from Sony. We'll move to the next one, and that's Microsoft. So, we know Microsoft does not put out straight hardware numbers, but they themselves also had uh, a pretty good holiday, and they basically said their holiday season was driven by Surface revenue, which actually increased 29%, and gaming revenue. They mentioned Xbox specifically. Gaming revenue is up 9% overall year over year. They've got a 30% increase in their Xbox Live revenue and active users, so they're up to 48 million monthly active users. The video game revenue grew 57%, driven by Halo 5 and Minecraft. And they actually mentioned Halo 5 as part of a $1.9 billion deferral that they're going to be getting money on later on, too. So, for all that talk of Halo 5 underperforming, Microsoft doesn't seem to think so. Now, hardware revenue declined by lower sales of Xbox 360 consoles because that had farther to drop really than the PS3 did. And they also mentioned that they sold more Xbox Ones, but at a lower price than they had last year. So the hardware side declined. But if they could take a hit on the hardware side and still grow 9%, I mean that's pretty damn good too, I would
Mhm.
think.
Oh yeah.
So now, of course, we nothing to talk about Nintendo yet. Although Sean, you've got some news to bring us later on in the podcast, but nothing about their. I mean, I don't think their quarterlies are out yet. So
Yeah.
um, third set of quarterlies that we got to see were EA. EA had some interesting things not only to show but to say, and it was they also maybe broke a little news of their own.
It's,
But
it's pretty big news.
To say the
yeah,
least.
yeah. So let's first talk about how good they did, because they did. So they were the #1 publisher on PS4 and Xbox One for this year. Madden 16 was the #1 sports title in the U.S. That's not exactly a surprise to me, but in Europe, FIFA 16 was the #1 game across everything.
Not a surprise there either.
So yeah, they talked about their forecast for Star Wars Battlefront was 13 million.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like they made it. And so then they got to their call, and Need for Speed looks like they did well too. And they also mentioned that they do have a new Battlefront coming next year. Titanfall, the new Titanfall game is looking good. So they've got some power coming, and of course you've got Mass Effect. You got Mass Effect Andromeda, which is dropping at some point in the next 2 years, and Mirror's Edge, which I'm looking forward to because I really like the first Mirror's Edge. So yeah. So
yeah. And I'm looking forward to Unravel. I think it's
yes,
next month.
yes, it does.
Yeah,
That's gonna be a great game.
I think so.
So yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on as far as numbers go. We don't that. How do you talk about the numbers? I mean, Sony's doing well, Microsoft's doing well, EA's doing well. That's about how you can. I don't know what else you could say.
The industry is doing well.
Yeah.
I would say the industry is doing well.
The industry is printing money, as they say.
Yeah. So, and Windy City Gaming, who's in our chat room, says NBA 2K16 is not far behind. So, we got sports games coming. So, all right. So I saved EA for last because they made a little extra news this week that caught, I think, everybody off guard, especially the ESA. So E3 2016 is June 14th through 16th. Sean, do you remember when E3 was in May? You remember that?
Yep.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember why. So I wasn't around. Sean, you were doing Inside Gaming Online. Why did they move to June? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I know that there was a time in which they just totally revamped E3 and they got rid of the booth babes and this and that, and people started complaining.
I
Oh
missed
my
the
god!
booth babes.
Well, when we do our retro and our memories podcast,
We got some pictures.
I've got some pictures of you, brother.
I
got
was gonna
pictures
ask
of you. I've got pictures of you in the booth babes. Trust me. I've got some nice pictures that I can always use as incriminating evidence.
All right, I gotta admit, it's been 10 years. The babes are the reason why I went to E3. It wasn't the video games.
Well, it was partially Nintendo and the booth babes.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you had a booth babe and a Nintendo booth, it was like heaven on earth, man. What else can I say?
Oh man.
But
right.
There was a time in which E3 it just went through a restructure and they shrunk everything, and I think that went on for about 2 years, and then finally everybody they brought it back to the way it was. But we were talking about this earlier. I'm like, it's just the landscape is changing. Things are just so different now than it was 5-10 years ago, especially when it does with E3.
I do remember there was a 1 year where they moved it, right?
I think so. I think they moved it into a
yeah.
smaller place
Yeah.
because it's always been in a Staples Center, right? And
Right. And then they moved it into like hotels or
Yeah, like
something. It wasn't even LA. It was a different. I forgot where it was. And
Yeah.
then that didn't work at all. So
No.
they went back to the format, but they kept it in June.
Didn't they miss 1 year or cancel it 1 year or something?
I don't think they canceled a year, but they did. They did move it to another venue.
Okay.
I think Yeah, I think they shrunk it to like a shack on a beach out there or something. It was just so tiny, and it pissed a lot of people off because that E3 does generate a lot of money for you know that week.
Well, and it's an industry event.
Yeah.
And it's where, we, in the old days and now other people, it's where the press would go to get their hands on the games, to talk to people, to be part, to report on what's coming. And so this is what makes the following news a potential industry changer, and something that, man, this is some serious repercussions if it really snowballs. I'm going to bring this up. So as I said, E3 is June 12th through 14th through 16th. EA has decided to forego E3. They're not going to have a booth. They're not going to have a presence. What they're doing is this. They're doing an EA Play from June 12th through 14th. And it's open to gamers, to the public. They're doing 2 events, one in LA and one in London. Now, they're going to have a press conference on June 12th, which is the beginning of their event. And like I said, it's open to the public. Now, you've got to have tickets. So it's not going to be like, it's not like PAX where you can just go in. But I've talked to a couple of friends of mine who are still game journalists and people I've met that are game journalists, and there's a lot of uneasiness with this. It's great. It's great to have a fan event. It really is. If you want to invite your fans out to play games, Microsoft does this before. I think before Gamescom, before E3, they have fan events where they'll bring people in to play games and stuff like that. That's all well and good. But this is in lieu of E3. So if you want, as a press member, to sample their games or to talk to their executives or get the tour or anything like that, this is where you have to go. And you are going to have to fight all those people that they're letting in that are not industry folks to touch the games.
Yeah, this is a shock to me. I mean, Mike being somebody who's been to E3 a couple of times, I mean, they had a humongous presence on the floor every year. And I'm talking, they matched the big boys, Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony, with their booth size. And this, I'm wondering if a lot of companies are going to go this way. A couple of years ago, we seen Nintendo basically just forget about the whole live thing and do this, and now we got EA doing it. Are other companies going to follow suit?
That's the thing. Now, what happens if Activision, Ubisoft, what happens then? So,
let me ask you guys something. I've obviously never been to an E3. So what is the benefit to EA? There has to be a benefit to this for them doing this.
Well, they get their games right in the hands of gamers. So E3 was never open to the public. That's where PAX came from. So if you remember, PAX used to be the full name was Penny Arcade Expo.
Penny Arcade.
Penny Arcade put that together because you couldn't go to E3. There was a point in time, I remember 10, 12 years ago, there were a couple of years where they experimented with allowing the public in on the last day of E3, but it never worked out. And Sean will tell you, and I think I've said this before, I may have said it on either offline or on another podcast, E3 is not a pleasure cruise. there's it is, if you do it the way you're supposed to, you may never touch a game on the floor. Sean will tell you that.
Yeah.
There were years that I never got out on the floor to play anything because every hour I was, me and Sean and Dan and Chris, we were all meeting with companies. And EA was one of them, and Microsoft and Sony, and well, we never got to really. You got to meet with Nintendo, so that and Ubisoft and Konami and those guys. And so we would stack up. Every hour would be, a meeting, and then you went to the conferences, and by the time you were done, they were packing up E3, and I'd get out on the floor for like 15 minutes. So it was tough. Now the way that we got around that, not the way we got around it, the way that what companies did to make up for it was, we had a dev Xbox 360 and a dev PS3. So the companies would send us builds from E3, and we'd be able to do hands-on previews. Back here at the headquarters, so to speak. So we'd get a chance to play those builds later on. But but I was exhausted every day after E3. I mean, I would go back to the hotel, and of course, we're on the East Coast. It's in LA, so you got to deal with jet lag too, or trying to keep, because it was only a couple of days. You tried to keep on a time schedule, so we were going to bed at like 7 at night and waking up at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
So, but this is a big deal because while they're going to do a keynote, and that's going to get covered like any other E3 press conference, it's not going to be like the other press conferences are going to be while EA's having this thing. And that is, I mean, this is something that has the potential to change the industry.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Especially if the other big publishers you mentioned, Ubisoft, Activision, jump into this and start doing this.
yeah, and that's a possibility. It depends on how successful EA
Wow.
is at it. So, so in the chat room, Nintendo Superior said, "I'm somewhat doubtful that EA will skip E3, since every year there's a program on Spike TV, every E3 for both Microsoft and EA." So, just to reiterate, they're going to have a press conference, but they're not having a show presence. They're not going to have a booth. We're not They're going to basically have this fan event, and that's it. So
Wow.
CV Tech
Could they
1
do
is
both?
checking in. Yeah. So CV Tech 1 is checking into the chat room. What's up? I love it. You know what? The last few weeks, the chat room has been very, very lively and very, very, very good, actually. Some great discussions in there. So I'm going to just remind everybody who's listening, if you're in the chat room, just please be respectful. No fanboyism, no console warring. Please just, if you got to take, as long as it's a good one and it's well thought out, by all means. But we've got a pretty zero tolerance policy for fanboyism in the chat room or in the comments below. So please don't. So
Hey, Mike, can I chime in real quick?
yeah, please do.
I got to be honest with you. I keep staring at that Namco 1 million sold in the background there.
Like that?
Yeah, it's great product placement.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because that is, if you see it, it was really funny because, I mean, we gave Dead to Rights a pretty decent review, but I don't remember being the catalyst for them selling 1 million of them. But there's an Xbox. If you look at it here, I'll get you a closer look at it. There's an Xbox disc, there's a PlayStation 2 disc, and there's a GameCube disc.
Yep.
And it says, "Presented to Next Level Gaming." It says that with thanks for helping us to achieve this goal of 1 million Dead to Rights sold.
Now
It's just one of those keepsakes that we have that remind me of the good old days. It's. I wish we had the time to bring a website back. I just don't. I have 3 children. This is what I get to do: is talk games with you guys, once a week, and do some Twitter feed and stuff like that. But stuff like that, and we have some other stuff. I'll put some other stuff over there from time to time. Um, but it's just it's a subtle reminder of what we used to do, and Sean knows.
Yeah.
Sean knows the work we put in.
Yeah.
You know?
You know that you should be ashamed of yourself for doing this product placement, but here, let me scoot over for a second so you can see my Mario in the background. So.
Wait, hold on, let me click on you there.
I think I'll do the lean for the next.
I don't think we had anything. I don't think we had anything to do with Mario's success, though.
Hell no.
Sean looks like he's in a fancy office.
Yeah. Right. I'm in my basement.
He's at playing in the background.
He's at the Inside Gaming Online headquarters office down there in Florida.
Yep.
So,
IGO headquarters in my office.
So, by the way, we're pretty much. I think we're pretty much going to make it that IGO is going to be kind of like the print arm of the podcast, and the podcast will be the web arm of IGO, and so it'd be like IGO NLG.
I go NLG.
I go NLG. So yeah, I mean this is like really crazy stuff that's going on. So let me now turn to the next crazy thing. Does anybody else have anything to add on the EA E3 thing before we move on? Other than just shaking your head.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I can't wrap my mind around it. I just, in my mind, if you want the fans to play the game, you could do both. Why not just do both? But
yeah. Windy City Gaming says Sean's got a marijuana plant behind him.
Hey,
oh
Mike,
my God.
It's the Apple Pie Jones strand.
Oh my God.
I am getting hungry.
No, you don't. You're not hungry for that. You're not hungry
You're
for
gonna
Apple
see
Pie.
a pizza delivery guy knock on the door here in like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
you are.
Hold on, I'll be back.
You are not.
Sean's like Domino's is at the door.
I will say this. Add this little bit about EA. Even though EA is not Microsoft, they're not Sony, and they're not Nintendo, but you got to wonder with them backing out, is this the end to E3? I mean, if you think about it, you have Microsoft. They're now doing their own thing.
Well, no, so you do bring up a good point. Gamescom is becoming a bigger show.
Yeah.
Right. And this year it was only 3 weeks apart from E3.
Mm-hmm.
Sony, Microsoft has something coming up on February 25th that we don't know about. That's supposed to be Windows 10 Xbox based.
Mm-hmm.
We don't quite know what it is, but Sony, the last couple years, has had their own full-on super show, the PlayStation Experience. I wonder. I mean, that's a good question. It really is. I can't.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
I think this could be I think this could potentially snowball into something else. Like Sean's saying, is this going to lead to the end of E3? It could be. I mean, EA's the biggest publisher in the world.
They are. They're the number one publisher.
Yeah,
and really, if you realize how much it costs to have a presence at E3, I mean, it's not cheap for a booth.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a good point, Mike.
Wow.
Not that EA's hurting for money, but.
No, but these guys are all looking at their bottom line. I mean, if you can cut costs and then actually have the people that are going to buy your games, you can showcase the games to these people. I mean, why not?
Right.
Yeah. And then bring the booth babes back.
Right, because it's one thing. You're always going to get the press coverage. You're always going to get the press coverage. The press needs these games in order to be something.
Yeah.
But
Mike, like you said, you guys would get you guys would get these games. They would send them to you, right?
They used to. The more I read the major media, the less I think that people are sending out build discs anymore. I think
Yeah.
what's happening is the companies are bringing the press to controlled events. Like, remember what
Mm.
happened? Remember the fiasco? Well, I guess you could call it a fiasco with Metal Gear Solid 5, and you remember the rumors about the review. Well, it wasn't a rumor. It was the controlled gameplay experience for the reviews. I
When they flew
mean,
everyone out to Japan.
when they
Yeah.
flew, right, or wherever they flew them. I
Mhm.
mean, um, there are uh, uh, there are more and more of these events where the companies are actually bringing the press to them.
Mhm.
Um, and so when we see these hands-on things, I'm not sure how much we're seeing that's not just here, let me hand you a disc and you go ahead and cover it. And don't forget, we've got so many games now. Like almost every game that has a multiplayer component now has a beta.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
tonight everybody's playing the Division, and hopefully I'll get a chance to play it a little bit before I go to bed. There's no NDA on the Division
Yeah.
beta, so if I can get some streams in for NLG, I'm going to stream that thing to tomorrow night and so on. And so a lot of the gameplay that people are getting is also from there. There's a reason why we haven't seen hands-on previews of Fable Legends and stuff, other than what Lionshead wants to let IGN and GameSpot and some of these other places show with stock footage. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah,
Compared
um,
to compared to God, 10 years ago when we were working with, when I was working for you for NLG, the landscape is different. Nowadays, companies really don't send you games. Um, I do find that a lot of indie companies will be more than happy to send you review code.
yes,
Um,
yeah, we've gotten a lot of those,
yeah.
and I wanted to get back to doing them. So hopefully, hopefully I can distribute some codes to some people to get some reviews done. But yeah, we've had great success with indies.
Mhm.
Very little success with major companies, except for Sony Santa Monica, who is working with us.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, the landscape may not need a big E3 showing anymore. You
Yeah.
know, you got they'll go out to Gamescom because that's big for Europe, and then you'll have everybody will have their own events.
Mhm. Yeah. It's technology is, being a big part of this too, because I'll use Activision as a good example. When everybody's favorite shooter game, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, came out, Activision was having a select few come to Treyarch and big YouTube guys. I can't I can't mention any guys like,
Yeah, I know. I
but
know.
they're just using the power of YouTube to get to get their videos out.
Yeah.
It's just it's a totally different landscape now, and it's crazy. It's yeah. Being someone who grew up and loving E3, eh, I would hate to see it go away, but the way things are going now, it's who knows? Who knows how this is going to end up in a couple of years if we're going to have E3 5, 6 years down the road, you know?
And, right, and well, I guess because also the landscape of journalism, and not even journalism, the news cycle is so different now.
Yeah.
It used to be when we were doing this and we were going to E3 and we were spending the time, we would we would go through the day, and then we'd huddle in the hotel room and write a whole bunch of
Mhm.
articles and throw them up, and that's how you got the news out. Now everything can be tweeted out in 5 seconds. So, you know, you can live tweet
Yep.
a whole conference and give everybody every bit of news that you couldn't give them 10 years ago because you're sitting there writing on your laptop trying to make sure you got all the notes down so you could go back to your hotel room for 5 minutes and hope that the internet connection was strong enough. Remember the remember the potato internets we used to get at the La Cucaracha Inn?
Oh my
Oh my
God.
God.
La Cockroacha in.
Yeah, we used to have some shit internet. So we basically would have to hold all of our writing until we got back.
God,
So
we sound so old.
I know we really do. I we are old. And to answer, Windy City Gaming asked, when did E3 debut? It was 1995. So it's actually just over 20 years ago.
I don't even think it started off in LA. Didn't it start off in Atlanta?
That was CES.
CES?
Yeah. So CES, there used to be a winter CES and a summer CES. So at some point, Sega bowed out of CES because CES was more like they had video games, but it was an electronic show. So Sega pulled out of CES. I remember this. It's because remember I'm a big Sega guy, and then this company called the Interactive Digital Software Association created E3, and then everybody kind of went there to do video game coverage, to do their video game stuff. And then I started going in 98. 98? The year before the Dreamcast fully came out was my first E3. And then 99, of course, was the big year. And then from then, starting in 2001, NL Gaming, and then you started coming along and so on. It looks like we lost Enrique. I don't know. There's something really bizarre going on with the internet tonight. So
Yeah.
those of you who are watching, if you are having trouble with our YouTube page tonight, I'm so sorry. I don't know what the heck's going on. Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, we're a lot. Most people are saying they're okay, but
Mhm.
yeah. So anyway, Windy City says he's 33. You could be my nephew, brother. So I'm older than Sean. I'm 42. So, oh man.
83 years of knowledge right here.
Yep. So anyway, Enrique's back.
All right.
So, what is going on with you tonight, brother? These squirrels running your internet?
Uh-oh.
He's still trying to figure it out. All right. So anyway, yeah, man, I didn't even think about what things could be like. But again, the world is going so fast, and news is so 24/7 cycle now that right, you may not need a central show. I'm interested to get one of the nice folks that I've met over the last couple of months. His name is Tony Polanco. He writes for the Coalition and some other places, and he does a really good podcast called The Throwdown. Him and I were talking about this a little bit, and he was unhappy with the EA Play thing because E3 is an industry event, and I agreed with him on that 100%. I wonder what guys like that who, because it's also travel. I mean, all of a sudden, instead of going to E3, he had to leave, instead of leaving on his normal time, he had to leave early so he can go cover the EA event and then cover E3 as regular. What happens when all of a sudden all that's left is maybe Gamescom and PlayStation Experience and Microsoft has something maybe in February and you're flying 5 times a year to go to different events.
Yeah.
Wow.
That can be double tough.
Yeah.
That can have an actual effect on how much you can cover. But then again, everything could be live streamed. These companies could just strictly start doing like Nintendo Direct kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I you know, who what I this is something that I don't know how to react to because maybe it is a literal getting old kind of thing where we're so used to how it was, and all
I
of a sudden it's not there anymore.
I
You're
think
making
I
us
think
sound
you're
old,
right.
Mike.
I do. I feel it.
So what my parents used to say to me when I used to listen to the music I listened to when I was growing up.
Ah, man.
I,
Okay.
I am totally I totally understand where you're coming from too, Mike. I guess it's because we're old farts, old gaming farts now. It's gonna be interesting to see, how this plays out because I like E3. I like sitting in front of the TV. I've actually taken off of work to watch E3. Just the press conferences, Sony's, Microsoft's.
Yeah,
So I hope that don't change.
I actually did that this year. I took off work.
Really?
Yeah, no, I did. And
That's good.
for many
I'm
years,
able,
I mean,
I'm
when I
able
was
to
in
watch it
college,
from work, which is good.
when I was in school, I would skip class to watch the E3 press conferences. If I had class
Oh,
in the
that's
morning,
funny.
yeah, I would.
That's funny. Now I can what and so the last couple of years at my job, what we would do is I would basically take lunch at that time, and we'd all gather in the conference room and watch the live stream. So like we watched the PlayStation reveal and the Xbox One reveal that way, and then we watched I would watch the E3 press conferences at my desk while I'm eating lunch and then while I'm working. So I'd be doing whatever I'm doing, and on my third monitor I'd be paying attention to the live stream. And again, that's basically what's going on now. You don't have to wait for Next Level Gaming to write up a summary of the press conference anymore because you can see it for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's you know that could be one of the things that is making it easier for people to feel like they can maybe miss E3. So it's a tough thing. And I don't know what they're going to what the future holds. And yeah, you're right. I can't even imagine what we're
Times are
going to be
changing,
looking at.
Mike.
I know.
Times are changing.
And it's funny because
Just think 5 to 10 years from now.
it's funny because the ESA, which is now the governing body and so on of E3 and that kind of thing, they're trying to, I don't know if the downplay is a good word, but they're trying to downplay it. They basically said um, that EA's player experiences underscores E3 as the global launchpad for video game news, announcements, and excitement. As always, we continue to look forward to their contributions to E3 week and can't wait to play the games ourselves. They're not part of E3 week. They're rich. They're doing their own thing. So, yeah, I, it it is. It's just so strange. It's so strange.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Speaking of strange, this is for you, Enrique. I just want to show you something real quick.
Are we gonna look at booth babes?
Oh, I
No, I'll
wish.
bring you up a couple, but this is for you.
Apple pie?
Apple Pie Jones. I'll tell you what we'll do. Since I have access to them, while we're
Oh
talking,
yeah.
I'll bring up a couple booth bay pictures for you and our
Oh
wonderful
no.
crew. Oh yeah.
Uh
You're gonna
oh.
break out what I
Just
looked
as
like
a
10 years ago?
just as a teaser. I gotta look for them, but just as a
Sean,
teaser.
Sean's like, I gotta go.
So, so the next thing, and it's something else I don't know what to make of. So Insomniac Games has announced their new title. And it sounds cool enough, Song of the Deep, and it's actually a departure from what they've been doing before. It is more of a Metroidvania game, so they're kind of doing the taking the Ori and the Blind Forest approach. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's great if that's what they want to do. It's a little bit different than what they've um, done with Sunset Overdrive and Ratchet and Clank and things like that. But look, if that's the direction they want to go in, Insomniac Games I think has earned the right to do their thing. Here's where it gets weird. The publisher for this game is GameStop. Now let me repeat that because I want our listeners to understand what I'm saying here. The retail store GameStop is publishing and marketing Insomniac's new game. Not Microsoft, not Sony, not EA, not Team 17. No. GameStop. Let that sink in for a minute. A retail store is publishing a game now. And so here's how this is going to work. Song of the Deep comes out in summertime. And we've tweeted out on our Twitter at OG_NL Gaming the trailer. And you can go to Insomniac Games' YouTube page to see the trailer. Very beautiful game, $15. All underwater, so it's going to kind of be like BioShock outside the city, but very, very pretty. You will be able to buy it digitally through PSN, Xbox Live, and Steam, but you will only be able to buy this game physically at GameStop. So they have the exclusive to this game. So my question to you, my intrepid crew for the night. A, thoughts, and B, is this good for the industry? I'd like you guys to go first, and then I'll chime in.
You want to go first, Enrique, or you want me to go?
Sean, why don't you go? Why don't you go? Because we actually, I talked about this last night. So why don't you go first?
See, I have a love-hate relationship with GameStop. I hate it because they've monopolized the gaming industry, but I'm there almost every day at my local GameStop. But my question is, when you trade this game in, are they going to give you 50 cents like they give every other game that you trade in?
Well, it's $14.99, so God knows what they're going to give you.
They give you $2.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess GameStop has to do what they have to do because the industry is changing so much and everything is going digital. Mm-hmm. So I can understand seeing them trying to get into the whole publishing, the whole publishing spiel. So I don't know. And the game's not overpriced. $15 is not bad. I just have to see what it looks like. It looks pretty decent because they're advertising the hell out of it. You go on their website, you see it. I went to GameStop tonight. They're playing it on the TV every 2 seconds. So I don't know. I guess I'm in the middle of the road on this.
Well, how about on the subject of good for the industry?
It might be good for the industry. I can see it like this. If there is a indie company that's trying to get their game out, that's one extra person, one extra company that can maybe help them.
Okay. All right. Enrique, you're up.
All right. This is such an interesting development.
Mike, I know we talked about this last night on Classic Gamer Gals.
Oh, he's fading away.
Oh, you guys hear
Oh,
me?
there we go. All right, he's back.
Okay.
All right.
I was saying,
He was going into Christopher Cross mode.
It's a GameStop person.
Yeah, now I know we're old if we're talking about Christopher Cross.
Yeah.
Jesus. So, I know we talked about this last night on
Classic Gamer Gals, and I'm still trying to wrap my mind around this.
I think a
Shocking.
GameStop employee is coming to take you away because we hear you slowly.
Slowly back it off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hold on a sec, guys.
Okay.
You guys hear me all right now?
Now we can hear you.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I don't either,
All right.
man. The internet down there is. You must be waterlogged.
You know what? I'm sure my wife's watching on demand right now.
Ah, that's it.
She's
Blame it
eating
on
my.
your wife. Blame it
No,
on your wife.
she's watching. I don't know what show she watches. Probably Law and Order or something.
She's eating to my bandwidth.
The joys of marriage.
Yes, and a live show. All right.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So I know we talked about this last night,
And I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it. This is shocking. And
is it? Am I still fading?
Yes.
Oh Jesus! GameStop doesn't want to hear what I have to say.
Nope. They're on the line.
This is censorship. GameStop is Big Brother.
Right, Big Brother GS.
Yeah. All right. So let me try this
As
again.
fast as you can.
Okay. So this could be bad
if GameStop starts getting other developers to make games, and then they monopolize on those games, and only allow those games to be sold in retail stores or online.
All right, I think
That's
there we go.
yeah. Did you guys hear that?
Most of it. If they get other games, I think I got the gist of it. If they get other developers to make games specifically for them, and they can monopolize, and that is my concern, and it's not even the concern of GameStop. This could be the beginning of, again, this is an industry changer. We're talking about now. You can get it digitally, and that's fine. But because you can only get it physically at GameStop, you've locked out every other retailer from that game. This isn't like an exclusive bundle where Walmart got, I think, an exclusive Lego or Disney Infinity PS4 bundle over the holiday, because you can still buy Disney Infinity everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
This is locking out people from being able to purchase the game. I typically don't throw terms like anti-consumer out there that much, but this is borderline. If you want to buy this game on disc, this is the only place to get it, and they have whatever control of the marketing and the distribution of this game. That's dangerous, because you have this. What happens when Best Buy or Walmart or one of these big box stores that have a lot more money than GameStop decide, I'm going to pony up whatever it costs to be the exclusive distributor for Call of Duty or Madden?
Yeah.
Could you imagine if you could only get Madden at Best Buy and you couldn't go to any other store to buy it? I mean, this is dangerous territory. And I'm not sure I'm comfortable with it at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. If they were to get some big franchises, like you said, Mike,
They control the traffic, meaning you have to go to their store to buy these games, and now they have your attention, and now they're going to sell you other things. And for them, I think it's just another way to generate more traffic and more revenue, obviously.
Yeah, we're still losing you, buddy. I don't know what's going on.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, but you're still fading out.
Yeah,
And
I don't know.
I'm now hearing an echo. There is definitely some crap going on the internet tonight. Maybe you know what it is? It's all these people playing the Division. It's screwing with our
Yeah.
podcast tonight.
It's the glitch version podcast 28.
Yeah.
I see the YouTube stream. It's like going in and out.
Yeah.
Is it? No, we apologize. Once again, we apologize to Matty Monk says his voice is fading like GameStop stock. Oh my goodness gracious, that is hilarious. Yeah, I'm sorry guys, I don't know what's going on. So what I'm thinking is I want to take a shot real quick at seeing if we can stream some a couple of the new features of the Xbox Live Dash, and if that doesn't work, we'll just cut short and go play some games. So, preview Xbox members have been checking out, of course, the latest builds of what's coming up for people in February on the Xbox One. And so, of course, us being preview members, we get a chance to look at it. So, what I'm going to do, and this is what this is why I really like uh, having a webcam now on my PC rather than using the Surface tablet, is the screen sharing, so I can show you guys and show our listeners and our watchers what's going on. So there are some new things in the Windows 10 app as well. They've kind of moved the feeds up here, so like the activity alerts and stuff are now over here, and a lot of the stuff over here has kind of stayed the same. There is some new Avatar Store stuff. Most everything has kind of changed, stayed the same. There is now a trending button, so now you can see what's trending on Xbox Live in the Windows 10 app, and if you wanted to check out, videos and updates from people, you can do that without having to click a bunch of buttons. You can get into the store. The store's been rebuilt. So the store was really basic at the beginning, and now the Xbox. So the great thing is they now have the Xbox One store, so you can see this stuff going on, and then you can go to the Windows 10 store and buy the Windows 10 games. So, oops, it opens up a different store thing. So now, instead of going to Xbox.com, and you can see games with gold and deals with gold. So this is all the stuff that's, in your deals and the free games. And then you can order it right from here. So this is something new, and then you can play it from here if you're already connected to the console. So the store is kind of a big deal because it's a nice place to go and buy your games. The One Guide's had some updates. Do either of you guys use the One Guide on either the Xbox or the Windows 10 app?
I don't use it.
Yeah, I really don't use it.
Only because the DirecTV app is just good, so I don't have a need to use the One Guide. But I mean, for those who like it, I mean, there is some good things about it, especially with on the Xbox side, and I'll show you guys when we get to the Xbox part where you can now you can check by. Okay, that's just an activity. Yeah, Worry War checking in.
GameStop.
GameStop is evil.
So anyway, this is the. I'll show you the Xbox version. Oh, here's my DirecTV list. So I mean, it's cool, but what we really came for is going to be looking at the new stuff with the console. So. All right. We not see. Let me unshare and reshare. And we'll get the, there it is. All right, we'll bring up, there we go. Okay, so now we have the Xbox One, and actually the cool thing is I'm using, because the Xbox is in the same room, I'm using the native Xbox One controller and not a controller plugged into the PC to control the Xbox. So a couple of the big changes. In your profile, you now have an achievement leaderboard. So you can check your gamer score against a bunch of others as far as how many points you've accumulated in achievements versus people on your friends list. So you can see, click on this, you'll get a top 3. And everybody who's played a heck of a lot more than I have this week.
Damn,
So.
I need to start playing some games.
I know.
I'm not even in your top 30.
No, you're not. So you have that. We have the community tab has been redone a little bit. So you have some your standard stuff, and then there's some suggestions. That's new. Also, the community calendar, which was in beta, is now live. So if you haven't checked the community calendar yet, this is pretty cool. It shows you basically all the stuff that's going on from different streamers. And, if you want to check out Stein, who's a member of he was a community member who's now working, I believe he's working at Xbox now specifically. And then Microsoft Studios has a live stream from 4 to 6, and so on and so forth. So you can check out all the stuff that's going on in the world of Xbox through the community calendar. So the other thing, and it's hard to show it here, but here, I'll show you the one guide real quick. Also, under games, they moved user code to right here in games, so it is not freaking hard to find anymore. So the thing I was going to show you about the one guide. So if you actually use the one guide area, so you have your standard stuff. Now this stuff has kind of been here the whole time, but you can come into here. Now I don't have my DirecTV on, so it's showing my signal has been lost. So you have trending, you have shows, you have the kind of stuff that you've had before, but now you should be able to sort by sports, sort by movies, sort by some other stuff. So if you do want to find something now, if you're not in the mood to just turn on your DirecTV or your Comcast and go hunting around, you could just say, all right, well, what new movies are out there? And then if it's on a channel that's on DirecTV, you can get to it. You can kind of see what's in, your various apps. So I have Amazon Prime, I have Crackle, and so on. And then trending on live TV right now. So if I wanted to, oh, look, Wolverine's on, I can go click on it. So that's the new one guide stuff. I am using this a little bit, even if I'm not using like the live guide. I am using this. So one other thing that they added to this that I can't really show at the moment because I don't have an active party going. I don't think. Are you online right now, Sean or Enrique? Either of you guys actually online? You are. You are. So I'm going to do me a favor, Sean. Are you near your Xbox?
No.
No. It says you're on YouTube. This is you. You're on YouTube.
Oh, my Xbox might be on then.
Enrique, you're not on because you're on with us.
That damn thing's probably been on for 3 hours. Oops.
All right. Well,
Does it show that I'm online?
yeah, it says you're online and on YouTube.
Oh, I guess I'm watching YouTube in the other room then. Oops.
So when somebody joins your party, you are now able to. I can't turn on Twitch right now to stream, but they are working on Twitch stream party chat, which is something that's been missing from the beginning, and other platforms have had it. And now the Xbox is going to get it at some point. I don't know if it's coming February, but it is certainly coming. Oh, here we go. We have Anchorman inviting me to a party, but I can't really do anything because I can't Twitch stream while I'm streaming to the PC. So, all right. So that is some of the stuff that is coming to your Xbox very soon. Background music, still not there. But
Maybe one day.
one day. Phil says after summer. So while I've sort of kind of given up on it, there's always hope.
No?
So there you have it. There is some of the new NXE OAE features and Windows 10 beta app features. I think as far as the Windows 10 app, the store is probably the biggest thing. And of course the streaming. So, here I am streaming this into the Hangout from the Xbox to my Windows 10. That's always been a great feature. So, all right. Anchorman says I was trying to help. And so I'm telling him, says thanks. If you're listening, Anchor, it's only because I can't Twitch stream and stream to the PC, so it wouldn't have worked. But what we'll do is maybe we'll do a follow-up stream with XSplit and see if we can do something for like a video, maybe for both of our channels, Anchorman, mine and yours. So Windy City's got to drive home from work, so he's going to finish listening. We're almost done anyway. So Windy, thank you very much for joining us in the chat room. Anyway. So, Sean, you had, before we wrap this up, this is going to be the shortest podcast we've ever done. Holy cow. Before we wrap this up, you have some news.
I have a little bit of NX news, Nintendo NX, and I have to give kudos to Nintendo Superior. He's the one who actually told me about this, I think, yesterday. And rumor has it that the NX, the Nintendo NX, will launch with Super Smash Brothers. This was tweeted by an industry analyst by the name of Dr. Serkan Toto. I think that's his name. I hope I'm doing it justice. And he tweeted this. Bandai Namco is currently developing several NX titles. Smash Brothers is planned to be a launch title. Ooh. I am not sure about the date yet. So that could be some pretty big news because Smash Brothers is one of Nintendo's flagship titles. I don't know if it would be a port of the Wii U version or if it's just something different. Of course, Namco worked on the Super Smash Brothers games for the Wii U and the Nintendo 3DS. So that's some pretty big. Nintendo NX news is starting to trickle out. It would be interesting if this is in fact real. So a little bit of Nintendo news there for you guys.
Yeah, thank you. It's about time we get some.
Yeah.
You may get a reprieve too, because I'm still looking for E3 pictures. So, okay. So to give you an idea of
let it rip, man.
Well,
Booth babes.
So this is the way our site was set up. Everything was in numbered pictures. So I have pictures of like here's when we got information in our dev kit for the PS3, and it was showing off some of the designs. So I had pictures of this from when we reported on it. I at the moment I can't find. Here's basically these are every picture we ever put up on Next Level Gaming. I have in these folders, but unfortunately, I can't. Well, these say E3, so I wonder how close we are. Um, I wonder if I'm getting close to the conferences.
Look at all those Nintendo things. Uh-oh.
I
What is
know. Quake 4. Well, yeah, this is good stuff. Oh, here was Metal Gear Solid. This was Metal Gear Solid. Hang on. Let's let this thing come up. I think it was Metal Gear Solid 3. Oops. Hang on.
Nope.
No, hang on. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3 Resistance. So we might be looking at this might be an older E3. But there should still be some booth babes.
That was back when
So-
Kojima and Konami were in love.
Yes.
So why did they get rid of the booth babes?
Lots of complaints about taking advantage of women and that kind of thing. It was, yeah.
I'll just say this: 99.999% of those booth babes were hot and well endowed. So
It's L.A.
Yeah. So
yeah,
It was-
LA is a strange creature. I remember me and Mike and a couple of other NLG guys went to, what was it like? It was just a regular food place like a Waffle House or a Denny's, and every waitress in that place was a 10. It was just
oh my
crazy.
God, every single one.
We were like
A
ordering
10?
food and we were like,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
everybody's trying to get noticed out in LA, so there was a lot of hot people. I
Oh,
felt
yeah.
very ugly out there. So
I always came home to my wife and said, you're the best. 'Cause, yeah,
Good man.
there were some hot women. So
yeah. Thank God I'm single. I don't have to get in trouble saying this kind of stuff. So
this is true. My wife knows. My wife knows the story. So, all right. So you get a reprieve for the moment because I can't get on. I can't find the numbered. Directory, and the Internet Wayback Machine, which has all of our NLG stuff stored on it,
Mhm.
apparently is having trouble of its own. So I can't actually even get to our archive site to see what the number is to the directory. So I'm going to probably tweet them over the week.
I may make myself look like an idiot. I'm going to send you, Mike, a picture from E3.
Oh,
I'm going to do it on
Uh-oh.
Facebook. So I want Enrique to see what these babes look like.
yeah, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. It's giving me trouble.
I believe they're 10s, without a shadow of a doubt.
There was some good stuff, man.
Oh man.
There was some really
So-
good stuff out there.
So guys, I'm not fading in and out right now.
No,
No.
you're not.
Good.
You know why?
Why?
I didn't mention GameStop. There's a little bit of a conspiracy here.
There might be. Hmm.
Either that, my wife got off of On Demand, but
So, well, you were before we go, just getting back real quick then to what we were talking about with EA and missing E3. Just real quick, give us a little rundown. Give us your rundown on it.
Yeah.
you talking to me? About
Yes,
EA?
you.
Oh, I thought when I
I'm
was
sorry,
fading out,
GameStop,
we're talking about
right,
we're talking about GameStop.
Sorry, give me the GameStop rundown.
Oh,
All right.
what I was saying was, they start landing these, big games, big AAA franchises, hypothetically, and they're monopolizing this thing. They're controlling the traffic, and that's a little worrisome.
Yeah,
You know.
that's how I feel.
Yeah, I know. I agree with what you're saying, Mike. And and I understand if I'm putting on my business hat, I get that they have to figure out ways to generate different revenue streams. I get that. And like you said in Mamacita's podcast, Mike, they can't stop the digital train. That's coming. And if they don't do this, they're going to die. Because unless they figure out how to make a digital store where you can do trade-ins and get credit and stuff like that, the digital future is going to be here soon. And well, it's here, but it's going to start eating into their business sooner than later.
Yes.
And so this makes sense for them to do this. They have the relationships with these developers. I know, Mike, you mentioned the GameStop event that they have every year.
Yep.
And when is that, by the way?
It's typically around E3. When did they? I'm trying to remember. Oh, so here we go. All right, so
Booth babes.
Yep, I found them. Now,
Sean, you look a little worried, Sean.
Hang on, I'm looking for.
More worried about that plant behind me.
So, I got some neat stuff too. I'll show you. So I'll show you some generic ones first, and just some generic pictures that we used to take at E3. So for those of you who might be into this stuff, let's see. All right. So this is how we did it. We took pictures of. Hang on. There we go. Let me do full screen here. Yeah, we took pictures of the conferences on regular phones. So here's 2006 when they were demoing the Wii. And there's Reggie Fils-Aimé on stage. And I think, Sean, these were your pictures because you always went to the Nintendo conference. So,
yeah,
there's the Wii. And there he is. Iwata-san. And there they are playing Wii Tennis. And then this was me at the Xbox after conference get together, and there should be a picture. There I am, of me playing Madden. So, and the Xbox Live Arcade stuff, World Poker, and so there was some other. So we get down to like the booth babes here. So let's see. So this is what was in the booth.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No.
It's just
I don't know
cosplaying.
who that guy is. That's exactly
Who's
what
that?
it is. I don't know, but that's Miss Call of Duty. The poor Nyko girls. And this was yeah.
Yeah, it's just cosplay.
Yeah. Oh, the poor
Engage. Wow.
There were more. I remember there were more booth babes than there were people in the booth.
I actually owned one of those.
I know you did.
I say we go back to Miss Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what. So I wanted to find because there are. I know I've got pictures of Sean. I know I do.
I sent
now
you
that the site's showing up, so this
I sent you one on Facebook.
Hang on, 2983. This is people are going. What the fuck are they doing? What are these guys doing? This is boring. Let's see what they're saying.
This was some serious shit back in the days, though.
This was. Oh, here was the Batmobile. Holy crap! From Batman Begins, the game.
Oh wow.
Yeah. These were the face plates. The different face plates. I think these were up on a wall.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls Oblivion. I mean, L.A. Rush. I remember that. And so this was a picture from the
Microsoft booth.
From a Microsoft booth looking down. And the EA booth. And the Gizmondo booth. There's another.
God.
There's DJ Gizmondo.
Yeah. The handheld that never was.
Yep. That thing had some promise, though.
Yeah.
And there's Sega and Ubisoft.
Oh, no.
There he is. There he is.
Wow. Look at Sean. Serious
Young-
face, the
young
water.
Sean.
He's got his shirt unbuttoned. Look at that.
Look at a girl.
Oh yeah, she looks serious in that picture.
It's just, you can't see my other hand.
Sean,
Oh,
where's
man.
your other hand?
So this is what they did. This is how close Sean was that year to the front of the stage at E3.
Oh wow.
That's how close he was.
Matty Monk just called you guys dirty old men.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna be a dirty old man until I'm a dead old man.
I got to relive this stuff somehow. So yeah. So here's how close you had, dude. You had front row seats that year.
Wow.
Front freaking row.
I had a shitty camera though.
And then we went out on the town and we saw Spider-Man and
Yeah.
he's a little out of shape in this picture.
Yeah, I was gonna say he looks a little out of shape.
Remember the Game Boy Micro?
Yep. There was a Nintendo booth, babe, up there.
There was. This was the top of the. Yep, this was the top of the Microsoft. So this was when we were treated very nicely by Microsoft, and we felt like we really were part of the. We were part of the the royal treatment that they gave the press. We were pretty proud of that. I remember you taking this picture. This was the DS.
Yeah.
You got some. You always had got. Some great
yeah,
pictures,
I went crazy with the Nintendo booth.
Yeah. So if I go back, I wanted to go back one other picture, not to the babes, but there was one other picture.
Call of Duty, babe.
No.
Sean really wants to go back to that Call of Duty, babe.
Yeah.
I think I might have to play some Black Ops 3 after this.
Oh boy.
04.
In honor of her.
Yeah. No, where is it? Oh, here it is. So, this guy, his name is George Lowe. He is the voice of Space Ghost in Space Ghost Coast to Coast. They were having a thing, so, like, I don't even remember. I think it was GameTap. GameTap was having a. They were showing the episodes on their application, and so they had him behind in a booth, and they were doing live Space Ghost cartoons. And so I don't remember how this happened, but I said, I love the guy. I would love to meet the guy. And somebody grabbed my arm and said, come on, and took me over to the booth. The guy walked out and gave me like this cool signed poster, which I'll show you in a future podcast of he signed all the characters and wrote funny things on it, and I got my picture with him. And that was just like those was like a really cool highlight. I thought that I had, and maybe I don't anymore. I had a picture. This is so behind the scenes stuff. This is E3 2004. I was pretty sure I had a picture of Peter Moore's tattoo, but that would have been 2002, which maybe I didn't have. I thought I had a picture of his Halo tattoo. Maybe I don't. 1635. Yeah. So this is just
Narc.
Yeah. Oh. Hang on. Let me see if there are any other pictures of. Oh, remember this guy? It was yeah. Blitz, NFL Blitz. This is back when Atari was still. There I am. What a dork that I look like. I can't even.
Atari had a really cool booth though.
They had a great booth.
They had no games. They had no games.
Yeah,
it was like a little lounge.
Right.
All white and red and drinks and food and not a single game.
Not a single game.
Hey, drinks and food.
Yep.
So that matters.
Yeah. Oh man, so that's some of the stuff that we used to do. Those are the good old days.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't checked the chat room in a few minutes. Sorry guys, if you I'm sure it's been fun.
They were calling you guys dirty old men.
Guilty as charged. Oh man, but that's the kind of stuff we used to do, and I really miss it. And I'll tell you honestly, if EA or if E3 goes away, I, that's the stuff that people in the press are going to miss because look, we're gamers too.
Mm-hmm.
When we were in the press, we were gamers too, and it would be very hard, to have to do all that stuff. Maddie says it's time you guys get back there. That's something that maybe Sean, maybe we can work that
Yeah.
with IGO and then we can get out there and do some live podcasting from there.
Yeah. I'd love
Yeah.
to get back out there.
So I gotta that
Yeah,
would
that'd be
be
cool.
something. Yeah, that would be something to aspire to. We may have to take maybe before it goes away because if it goes away, we won't have that chance anymore. But maybe it's time. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, boys. Is there anything else that's on the radar for you guys that you guys want to talk about?
GameStop is evil.
GameStop evil. I think GameStop is Japanese for evil.
Okay. The views expressed
Yeah.
by Sean Foster of Inside Gaming Online do not reflect me.
Hey,
All
I'm a
right.
hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite because I'm at GameStop every day. So
I do not shop there at
Hey,
all. Everything is digital
let
for
me
me.
ask you guys something. What do you guys? How do you guys feel about the used games thing that they do?
I think it's a ripoff. That's why I don't. That's why I'm not. That's why I don't buy anything physically anymore. Because what am I going to
Do you,
get for it if I trade it in?
yeah.
but do you think
And
it's a bad thing for the industry?
Well, I don't know. It doesn't seem to bother. It didn't seem to bother publishers enough to back Microsoft's original play, so it can't be.
I think that it's bad in the way that GameStop has it set up because their prices that they give people are just insanely low. It's just it's a racket. Um, and
Yeah.
also I have a little bit of gaming OCD, so I don't like buying used games because people usually trade their stuff in. There's a bunch of snot and shit and other things covered on the systems and the so. And I love instructions on my games, so yeah, I guess I do have a little bit of gaming OCD.
Just a little.
If I do buy a used game, I'll bring it home. I'll take like the packaging apart and wipe down the cases and stuff. Jeez.
Yeah. I have a problem when, in the past, when I've gone in there, and let's say a game has come out, and I go in a week after release, and they're pushing the used copies on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an issue with that. And I've never bought a used copy on a game that was released a week. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Because I don't feel like that's right to the developer.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
They're
I
double
agree very
dipping.
much.
But they would push it hard. They do that.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah,
and
they
if
do.
anybody, then that's what I think is kind of pushing this a little bit because any threat to digital gaming, and I mean they are still the number one game retailer out there, so they they've got some leverage, they've got some power, and
No, they do.
they can be a kingmaker very quickly.
Mhm.
Yeah, they can.
So,
And
That worries me a little bit.
yeah, and oddly enough, for people like us who, we go and we buy new games and we don't deal with the used games, there's two people out there who buy used games, and as long as that practice continues, it's just gonna GameStop is still gonna be around. And of course, like you said, digital is really threatening their business, and they're sitting
Yeah, it is.
here selling, which I don't understand. And what is your guys' views on this? You can go into a GameStop and they will try hard to sell you a digital code that you can just get on a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and just buy right then and there.
I think that would be good if you could get it at the same price as the physical copy. That's the only thing that upsets me about digital versus physical. I'm
Yeah.
100% digital, but I feel like I'm punished for it. You
Yeah.
know, I saw
I
people
went back
buying.
to physical.
I can't the convenience of it for me.
No, I know.
But
But I went back to physical because Best Buy has that gamers, I forget what it's called, Gamer Zone
you were
Reward or something
right.
club.
I remember when you
Yeah,
signed up for that.
yeah, 20% off new games, and I get a $10 Best Buy Rewards uh, gift card for buying a pre-order. You can't beat that.
Yeah, you can't. And so, but at the same time, like I said, I like the convenience of digital. But I saw people buying Rainbow Six Siege for $39.99, which I very much would have paid for with no problem. But because I get everything digitally, I'm stuck paying $60 if I want it. And I think that's not. I think that's totally unfair. I think it's unfair considering that with physical you get a case, a disc, and a. Well, I don't know if you get a book anymore, but you get a case and a disc and shipping and paying for GameStop employees or Best Buy employees and paying for the whole 9 yards. Digital, you're not paying for all of that stuff. So the but these guys like GameStop and stuff, they will not allow you to undercut them, or they'll just they'll throw their weight around.
Oh yeah, they'll pull your game from the shelves.
Well, remember what they did with Madden
Hmm.
and any of the bundles that had digital codes in it. They refused to sell those bundles, and they decided to make their
Yeah,
own. And that ended up screwing Microsoft a little bit because Microsoft, of course, has the exclusive deal with Madden, with EA with Madden, and basically GameStop said, "Well, screw that." They gave a physical copy to both Xbox and PlayStation owners. So they went so far as to even circumvent Microsoft's own marketing deal with EA. So they've got this leverage that they can use.
Yeah.
So, man, we've talked a lot about GameStop tonight.
yeah, we have.
So, all right. So I think we're going to wrap here. I want to thank everybody who has been in the chat room tonight, hanging out with us. I know that the YouTube channel, the stream has been a little tough, but thanks for hanging and thanks for watching us filter through old pictures and bringing up bringing up some memories tonight. It was good. Those were good times. And thanks to you, Enrique, for jumping in at the last minute and helping us
Yeah,
out.
you got it.
And Anchorman for trying to help us out with doing the party chat on stream, even though we couldn't do it just because of what I was doing. And I also want to give a couple other quick shout-outs. I've been on a few other podcasts recently, which is kind of new for me. I'm starting to make a couple of rounds. So I want to give a shout-out to Broken Games HD, who had me on the second Gaming Assembly podcast, which we did this. I think it was we did it on Tuesday, and it was I did the first one and this one, and I got to meet a bunch of really good people who have also been on our podcast. John from Super Deforms Gamecast, and of course I want to give a shout out to Mamacita925 and her channel Classy Gamer Gals, who they're she's been a partner with us for a little while now, coming on our channel, coming on our podcast, and I was honored to be on her podcast last night with you, Enrique, as we
Yep.
talk some games and stuff like that. And and John from Super Deforms, he was ready to jump on tonight, but then they started playing Division. So, but a lot of these guys who are really good people, and part of what I'm starting to call our podcast family. So, Enrique, of course, with the Basement Radio Arcade, you can check his channel out. And his podcasts are also Tuesday nights. And I'm going to get on there with you one night as soon as wife says okay.
9
So,
p.m.
9 p.m. I think I can swing 9 p.m.
Sounds
So,
good.
we're going to start doing these damn things starting at 10 o'clock. Guest hosts be damned. So,
Yeah.
but thanks for swinging on with us. And of course,
No, my
Sean,
pleasure.
welcome back again. It's your second podcast back with us. And I put the link to Inside Gaming Online down in the description below. So make sure you click on there, check out all that Sean and his crew give us, and some of the things that we'll partner up with you on through the website. And to all of our listeners, both live and who are going to be listening later, thank you so much. Please use the comment section below. Let us know if you agree or disagree with anything that we've talked about tonight. A lot of potential industry changing things. So we want to hear your voice. And as long as your take is intelligent and respectful and non-combative, the three of us will be more than happy to come and talk to you, debate with you, what have you. Just like I said, treat the comment section with respect. Thank you guys again in the chat room for also treating the chat room with respect. You guys are great, and I haven't been able to type as much tonight because I'm running some of the other things, but I've been really enjoying a lot of what you guys are saying in there, and it's just some great conversation. So, as always, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe. We definitely want to do more on this channel, and I know, like and subscribe to Basement Radio Arcade because Enrique wants to do more on his channel as well. But the more subscribers we have, the more we can do. And follow us on Twitter at OG_NL Gaming. You can follow me at StingerNLG. Sean is Erasure242. Enrique is Aries Gamer. Areez, right, gamer?
Yep.
All right. See, I got it. And follow us on Twitch at OG_NL Gaming. We are going to get some Division beta streaming in. And guys, I think that's it for tonight. Sean, thank you. Enrique, thank you.
Hey, always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, this was fun. I always have a fun time. So I'm going to work on this, but just for giggles, I'm going to outro our trailer and see if that works. So, as always, everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Have a gaming weekend. Have a wonderful week. Play on, gamers. All right.